Hey, Brent? 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 I had something to tell you.
Oh, hi, Chris.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I was cold.
Let me guess. Brent couldn't make it, so they called you.
Yeah.
Oh!
Now relax. I am here to help you.
I can see where this is going.
Now, you know that
I don't want your kind of help, by the way.
Well, I never.
Well, you know what I have?
What?
I have only one thing to say.
Well, what is that?
Live from New York, it's Comic Related's Related Recap! And welcome back to the recap, everybody. I'm Chris Ventura.
And I'm Mike Ventura.
And we are here today. Unfortunately, Brant could not be here this week. He has lots of work to do. Plus, because it's Villains Month, he ran back to the Fortress of Solitude to get some extra protection, so to speak. And
yeah.
I've already been to the Fortress, and I am all protected up for the Villains Month.
Oh boy, that's gonna be one hectic month.
Oh yes, and we definitely will be getting into the books that are coming out next week at the end of the show, and we'll discuss what books we are looking forward to most coming out of Villains Month, as well as Marvel, Independence, and other companies that we are reading from. But anyway, beginning of the show, we always talk about news, as always, Mike, and let's start with the movie news. Even though we try to stay away from movie news, but in this case, this is the biggest controversy on the internet right now, and that is Ben Affleck being brought on as Batman. Me and Brand touched on this on the Related Recap Extra, which is on the Comic Related YouTube channel. You can check it out there. Obviously, there's not going to be an extra this week. Bryan Cranston, known for Malcolm in the Middle and Breaking Bad, is playing Lex Luthor. I'm sorry, but when the death threats came back, I started saying, oh, here we go with Dan Slott all over again. Poor Dan Slott. It took him forever.
With the Superior Spider-Man thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. It was like, wow.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, people take things like really seriously. I mean, they're just people. They're trying to make a living. It's not that, you know, they're trying to, like, ruin anything like other people that we won't say. Michael Bay.
And just to make mention, you brought up Dan Slott. If you bought this past week's Superior Spider-Man, they changed the phone number. It's now 1-800...
I think it was 1-800-555-1-SPY.
Yeah, one spy.
SPY. Yeah.
One spy. So, and that one, if you call it, you win a trip to the Bahamas, which isn't real. It's a stupid advertisement, telemarketing. But beside the point, at least it's not a porn.
I thought it was a mortgage thing, you said.
I don't care.
Whatever it is, it is. Just don't call the number. Whatever you do.
I think Ben Affleck, as much as I ranted about it when it first was announced, whatever. People said his acting got better. I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
I don't know, like, I watched Daredevil, I mean, it was 50-50, like, I mean, maybe not as Daredevil, like, Matt Murdock was, like, spot on when he played in Daredevil, but for his character, in my opinion, not really sure, but when it comes to Batman, like Daredevil, I could see him as Bruce Wayne, but I'm not really sure if I could see him as Batman with the whole, you have to use like a deep voice and you have to be like really...
Oh please, if he does what Christian Bale did to Batman, I'm sorry.
I don't know about that.
I would walk out of the movie theater. But Bryan Cranston definitely fits Lex Luthor. I think he'd make an awesome Lex Luthor.
I mean, I didn't watch Malcolm in the Middle, but
no, he was comedic in Malcolm in the Middle.
Right, but I have seen a little bit of Breaking Bad.
Really?
A little bit.
What the hell were you doing watching that show?
There was nothing to watch on TV, and when there's nothing to watch, I watch these things I never heard of. And
I thought when there's nothing to watch on TV, you go and play with your baseballs.
that is when I am watching the morning hours. I'm talking about
You do it in the
night-
morning? I thought you were more of a night person.
Beside the point, guys.
Innuendo.
I think... Damn it, Chris. I think that Bryan would play a great Lex Luthor. Although, like what we were saying about Batman...
Bryan Wood? You mean Bryan Cranston?
Yeah, Bryan Cranston, but I'm just saying Bryan because I forgot his last name. But I would...
Bryan Wood is the writer of Star Wars.
Oh, I meant Wood as in W-O-U-L-D. Not W-O-O-D. Anyway, let me just get to the point. I think he'll be a good Lex Luthor as long as he doesn't do wrong like he did in Superman
No,
Returns.
Kevin Spacey's staying far away from a Superman movie.
Okay. And that is what I was trying to say.
Okay.
Okay.
Good for you. Now, let's get into comic book news, which is most important. Marvel Infinity. We talked about this on the Dark Avenger Inc. live show, which if some of you guys didn't catch live, unfortunately you won't catch it as a video due to the fact that YouTube didn't post it. Because we were talking about Bryan Cranston, and we showed a couple of clips of him on Malcolm in the Middle to show people because they didn't know who he was, and apparently that's copyright, even though we really didn't show any copyright. So yeah. But beside the point, we talked about on the live show a bit that Infinity is not a self-contained miniseries that you have to read Avengers and New Avengers, or else, unlike the other events that were going on, like Age of Ultron and Avengers vs. X-Men, you lose out on a huge chunk of the story. And as a matter of fact, there's a huge major battle that happened in Avengers this week, and I didn't buy it. And our good friend Jay, I want to say Philly Superman, but he's also Comic Book Theater, mentioned that there's no way you're going to sum that up in a couple of pages.
No,
I mean, if they
can't.
do, then it's unnecessary to buy Avengers and New Avengers. But this mini event turned out to be now, instead of it being a 6-issue miniseries, it's now almost about 18 issues worth of comics.
And what if they never read Avengers or New Avengers? That means they have to buy to understand the story? Because, I mean, it doesn't make sense with so many titles that come out, and then they put the whole thing in a big circle in one story. How can you do that?
And it affects the Marvel Universe.
Right.
In major ways.
Right. I mean, you're doing so much of...
And can I mention that also at the end of the Spider-Man, 2099 Spider-Man, there's going to be another massive change to not only the Spider-Man universe, but the Marvel Universe? Yep. So, that's 2 major changes with 2 big events, and we're not even in 2014 yet.
And let's not forget time traveling. That's happened
way
too
too
many
much
times. Like, I mean, seriously. Can they go back any further, like maybe to the dinosaur ages if they have
Yeah,
to?
why not? Oh, Fantastic Four did do that and brought, bring back the dinosaurs. No, then we're going into IDW's Attack of the Dinosaurs or whatever.
And then we have to say how we
killed.
killed the dinosaurs and we ran them over.
Ran them over with our truck.
Exactly.
That's
But
a Ren and
seriously-
Stimpy reference right there, folks.
But you're going to the past and you're going probably back to the future.
And
not mentioning
Back to the Future,
like that.
Yeah, no
But-
music, no DeLoreans. Or
How many times
trains.
do you have to juggle around the time? Stay with the present. Just stay the way it is.
I think, honestly, Marvel, I'm trying to put this in a good way. I think Marvel lost perspective on what they were doing. And Marvel now was a perfect, ingenious way for them to fix everything, get everything organized again, and, fix up their universe without needing a reboot. Because up until Marvel Now, they didn't need a reboot.
Right.
But ever since Marvel Now, and especially after Age of Ultron, where time doesn't mean jack diddly shit anymore, now Marvel, I mean, there are ways that you can fix it without a reboot, but the best course of action, as well as the speediest course of action, is a reboot. maybe not a complete reboot, go back in time a little bit. It does involve time travel, but rewind time a little bit back to, one more day. For certain characters, it depends. There are certain points in time, but...
So basically you're saying almost do what the New 52 and DC Comics
almost.
did.
Yeah, just...
But not change their personality.
Yeah, not change the universe, not change anything. You just gotta restart the universe. You gotta restart to a restore, like a system restore. You gotta go to a restore point.
And at least let the comic books come out like one issue a month, because it's like issue after issue after issue. We need to recharge our batteries from what we read, and then it's like another comic's coming out. It's like, I just read this. I mean,
yeah,
you want to keep intact with the story. I hate to interrupt you.
No, I'm agreeing with you.
Intact with the story of what's going on, and it might be interesting to some people, and some people might not want to wait. But for other readers,
you have to.
That's the point of comic books.
Look, I read Superman and I read Action Comics. I only get to read them once a month. That's it. DC doesn't know, and you only get to read Green Arrow. I keep calling it Green Lantern. You only get to read Green Arrow, Justice League Dark, and Constantine, and Phantom Stranger, and all the other books you read once a month.
Right.
Marvel is the only comic book company out there right now that is notorious for doubling up their comic book issues, and it's a huge minus. Especially, for example, this month
and you forgot to mention All-Star Western from DC.
Well, yes, All-Star Western as well.
I'm just sorry.
We support the DC a lot of the DC comics.
Yes, we do.
And this is coming from somebody who originally was protesting against the New 52. Mm-hmm. I know a lot of people say that, okay, it is not my DC universe, and I still agree to an extent that this is not my DC universe. I did not grow up in this DC universe. This is a universe that was created by the minds of Jim Lee and Jeff Johns. Jim Lee being the head of Wildstorm, which, by the way, is no longer around for a specific reason. So I don't know why they would put him in the driver's seat. But beside the point, basically it's Jim Lee's way of trying to bring back Wildstorm in the DC universe and run DC Comics. Now, it was off to a rocky start, the New 52, and believe me, but a lot of people loved it. And I don't mean just liked it, I don't mean just, whatever, they loved it. And it brought a lot of people into comic books.
Right, and that's when I started reading DC, and not just Marvel.
But after the newness wore off and they had gained their new readers, it brought in a lot of new readers. Then when the issue 19s came out, and believe me, there was at least twice, there were two sets of books that were canceled and new series came out, and then there was another cancellation wave, and then a new wave of books again came out. Two cancellation waves later, and we are now at issue 19. The issue 19 gatefold covers brought a lot of the older readers back, because that was their kind of way of saying, okay, we're going to start fixing things up. And now, with Forever Evil, there's another mention of things being fixed up yet again. And they will be taking effect in the comic books as the series ends out. So probably by the early 2014, the early 14, yeah, I'd say around March, April.
Because that's like still early.
Let's say spring of 2014. We should start. Okay. We will be seeing the major changes in all the characters in the new DC universe. Will it still say New 52? I hope not, because that title, it's not new anymore. Once you pass that issue 20, it's not the New 52 anymore. Now it's just the DC universe again.
I don't know if they're just keeping it as a brand, like just to remind them that we're in the new.
It's like Marvel now. Marvel now died already.
No, I'm not saying like I know it. I'm just guessing that they're probably just wanting to keep the brand because of New 52. We want to remind them out there that this is all new. This isn't like
but it's been 2 years.
It's
2 years worth of it.
Right.
It's over.
I mean, it's not new anymore.
We're going into year 3. September is year 3. Oh no, was it September or was it?
No, it was in 2011.
No, it was November. Yeah, but the changeover was around November of 2011. We're in 12, 13,
I
13 is 2
in
years.
September.
No, it was around the fall. Yeah, it was when school started.
Right, so it was September.
Around September.
Well, whenever it was.
It was between the 3 months of September, October, and November. I don't exactly remember. I just remember having to put a divider in my comic collection for Superman because that's when everything changed. Anyway, regardless of what month it was in 2011, the end. And it was off to a rocky start. The issue 19 brought in a lot of the older readers again, and now Forever Evil is going to bridge the gap between old readers and new readers. At least that's my prediction. If that's true or not, I have no idea. Did you see the new layout? They have a new Lobo that they have set.
Lobo. Well, I know he's in Villains Month.
Yeah,
but
there's a new Lobo. Apparently, the Lobo we know that, you know, the default Lobo, which we said, oh, they didn't change Lobo. Yeah, no, that guy's a fake, and the real Lobo is coming.
Yeah, because I was saying Lobo kind of, to me, when I read the comic books, like, you know, when Kevin brought his comics, I saw him really as an anti-hero when he was working with Superman, or whether he would do either bad or good stuff like an anti-hero does, like sometimes good and bad.
Well, Villains Month is changing around a lot of the villains' origins a bit.
Yeah,
to a lot. A little bit to a lot.
Yeah.
So that's why they're actually doing it. They're giving the villains a fresher look and a fresher origin, so to speak. Which is why I'm actually interested in getting as many of the Villains Month books as humanly possible. However, and this is leading into another subject, the 3D covers. Stores do not have a lot of them. And we order from Midtown Comics because we don't have a comic shop close enough to us.
We used to.
We used to have one that was only about a 5-minute walk away. Unfortunately, the owner decided, hey, it's time to move on and screw all the people that come here. So everybody else who used to go to that shop either went to Midtown or went to a comic shop, which is about a half hour away. We chose to go to we were one of the people that went to Midtown. So ordering on Midtown, because of the low amount of 3D covers, instead of selling them the way they were supposed to be sold, because the 3D covers were supposed to be the originals, and yes, they are considered the cover A's, they're treating the covers now like they're variants. And usually when it comes to special cover variants, they don't give that 15% discount like they do with the regular comics. And for example, on Midtown, it's $3.99 flat. There's no 15% off. However, if you want the 2D cover, it's $2.99 with the 50% off, or 15% off, so then it's $2.54 instead. If I was to buy every single issue in 3D, it was very, very close. It was well over $80.
I saw it,
including the Marvel and indie books that I buy. So it was well over $80. Taking away a few of the books that really I didn't need the 3D covers for, it brought it down a good $10.
Yeah, more.
Maybe a little bit more. Maybe about $15. Because I only got a few.
So, I mean, we didn't really see the comic books yet of what the 3D, like in our hands,
the
really
lenticular
look like.
3D looks like, yeah.
Right, because we got comic books, you know, 2 days after the release comes out every Wednesday.
Right.
But I don't know. I mean, if I see the 3D from some of the comics that you got, and if it doesn't really have anything to do, you know.
Yeah, I'm going to switch to 2D myself then, because I'm not going to waste my money on 3D covers.
But seriously, like, why are you going to make things 3D when it's going to look, you know, 2D? It's the same thing, only I don't know if it looks.
It'll look different. The thing is, they brought out.
We used to wear glasses for that.
Yeah, no.
3D.
They brought out the 2D covers because they didn't have enough of supply for the 3D. So the 2Ds are there, like, oh, don't worry, you won't miss out on it. Here you go. You'll get 2D covers instead, and it's $1 cheaper. And the funny thing is, the comics I thought that would sell out, like the Joker, Darkseid, and stuff like that, didn't sell out. And the comics I bought in 2D because I didn't think they would really sell well in 3D, like the Ventriloquist and Deadshot. Well, Deadshot I kind of had a feeling was going to sell good in 3D. But Ventriloquist sold out as far as 3D on Midtown. So I was very surprised.
Well, there's some popularity in villains that they like, and they go out fast with the villains.
Deadshot I regret not buying in 3D now, but at the same time, money just... This month is the month of the money flying out the window.
Yeah, it's like really expensive, and it's like, you know, like how we.
And it's all for covers. You know, you guys got to realize it's all for covers. And if you're buying it to save and sell on eBay later on, if you're thinking, hey, I'm going to buy the Joker 3D, Zod 3D, and whatever major villains 3D, and then sell them as a bundle for like $2,000, $3,000, that ain't going to happen.
You're going to get the money back of the exact same amount you paid for, if not more or less.
If not less, because to be honest, there's going to be second printings, and people will just buy the second printings.
And that's another thing. They
do
do second printings, third printings, and fourth printings. You know, I mean...
Did you know that the Villains Forever #1, the lenticular 3D cover, which is cover D, was $425?
Huh? Wait,
oh, it's a
for
variant.
cover D?
That was a variant. That was a legitimate variant, though.
Wow.
Well, that's nothing. Superman Unchained #1 lenticular cover goes for about $800.
Whoa.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
That's beyond crazy. I mean, like, how like,
it's
how
a stupid cover. Do you people understand? This is just a cover. You
can print it off a computer.
No, not a lenticular cover.
Not a lenticular cover, but the cover the picture they see.
Yeah.
You know.
It's stupid, and guys, come on, realize that this is what failed in the 90s, but is doing apparently really well in the 2000s, and this is bad because they're the same story. It's the same exact story. All you're getting is a different sleeve that it's inside of. It's the same thing.
Now we have to understand, though,
There's
Chris,
no
that
understanding.
there are... Wait, listen to me. There are people who like to have a certain cover.
No, there are people that like to spend $30 on a book that's only worth $2.99 or $3.99.
Wait till I finish.
I'm waiting.
But it's ridiculous to pay that much of amount of money if they're thinking of selling it for more than what they paid for, where it's not going to be, you know, the way they want. See, that's what I'm trying to bring out. See, this is why people, you got to wait till I finish a sentence to get a full understanding of what I'm talking about. It's ridiculous, yes, to get the cover because it's the same story.
Now, if it's signed by Stan Lee, that's a different story.
Well, Stan the Man Lee, I mean, that's really something else. But beside the point, it's just the same story, just a different intro cover.
Yeah.
You know, that's all I was going to point out. It's just...
Yeah. So, I don't know, but guys, if you can't get it in 3D, don't worry about it. Get it in 2D. If you want anything in 3D, my recommendations have always been the Joker. For this coming... Well, you know what? Let's save it for when we go over the books that are coming out next week. Let's stick to the news. Another thing, you are reading Justice League of America.
Yes.
Once everything is said and done, once Villains Forever is over, Justice League of America is now changing, Jeff Lemire is changing the title to Justice League of Canada. What are your feelings on that?
Justice League of Canada. Well, it doesn't really roll off my tongue because...
It doesn't.
It doesn't really. I mean, I'm not saying it... Look, we like Canada. You know, we're not saying...
I don't think anybody thinks we're against Canada.
No, we're not against Canada, and I'm not when I say this, but it doesn't really fit. It doesn't really sound like something that...
I'm interested.
I mean, I'm going to take a look at it. It's not saying I'm not going to. I'm going to take a look at it, but I want to just see how... Because when Justice League Dark came out, people were not really too...
Yeah, now you're using my words, where I said that it was a team based off of magic, and nobody's really going to be interested in that. And then what happened? It was one of the better Justice League teams.
I mean, they might come up with what they did with Justice League Dark, like maybe Canadian superheroes with their origin stories.
Well,
we may or may not know
that Booster Gold was Canadian.
Well, I kind of sort of knew a little bit. I mean, I wasn't saying that I fully knew. I kind of thought like maybe he looked Canadian, but I don't know. Like the title. It really depends on if the story is going to be good. Because I trust Jeff Lemire's stories. Because his stories, when he does Green Arrow and Justice League Dark, they are book solid excellent. As when I'm reading them. But I really don't know if it's going to be good. I mean, maybe it might. But I don't know. What are your thoughts about it?
I have to see the first issue to pass judgment. But at the same time, it's an interesting title. And there's a lot of potential. They just have to reach that potential. If they're going to pull a Justice League Canada team off, they're really going to have to make it special.
Exactly. Like something really good. Right. Like the origin, like I just said. So we get an understanding of character development.
You can't just
For
slap
future stories.
you just can't slap the label Canada on there, move the team to Canada, and expect everybody to be like, "Oh my God, eh? That's a good comic." No, you gotta actually work for it. You gotta give us a reason why we care about the Justice League being in Canada now.
It would be funny,
Or they're
though.
in JLC now.
It would be funny though if they put a Canadian bacon as a funny pun, or
Don't make me kick you.
the maple syrup thing. Just saying.
Don't make me kick you. Don't make me kill you.
I'm just saying.
Another interesting bit of news is Venom is ending.
Yeah.
Venom will be ending at issue 42.
Now, why would it end that it's doing so well?
Because they're probably going to relaunch it in Wave 2 of Marvel Now.
But it's doing so well. Why are you going to do
This
that?
is Venom, Mike. Venom always, his miniseries always, after a certain amount of issues.
Yeah, but it's going to be with a new person being Venom? Like,
No.
who else do we know?
We don't know. Pardon me. We don't know if they're actually going to bring back Venom either. I mean, Venom is going to end. It's going to show up in Superior Spider-Man, and then we don't know where it's going to go from there. Maybe Flash Thompson will lose the Venom symbiote, and there'll just be Mania left.
Maybe that, but I don't know. Usually when I hear from people with comic companies that if a comic does good, then it doesn't go out.
Apparently, it's not doing as well, or the writers have decided to let it go.
Or that villain thing. When
Jack-o'-lantern is very
whatever.
annoying. Circle of
Yeah, Jack-o'-lantern. Even I read this past Venom comic when Venom Mania were going up against Jack-o'-lantern, and he does sound like an annoying character. I mean, even I read
He's
his
a B-list character like the Jackal that
Right.
you just want to see thrown off a building and
yeah, because I read his origin story in the past, and it was boring. It was so boring. I was like saying I could care less what his life was before he turned into this Jack-o'-lantern. But it's like it didn't grasp me. It has to grasp me to like say, this is interesting. This is like saying, okay, and your point is,
Exactly.
it's got to have a point.
Yeah.
You know.
I definitely agree. And I think that's about it for the news. I'm trying to think if there's anything
Well,
else.
X Factor 2 is going out.
X Factor is also ending
And
in 2 weeks.
I'm not happy with that. I am so not happy with this.
Well, they probably will be coming back.
Well, Shatterstar's having his own comic series, so...
Long shot.
Oh, I thought it was... Long Shot. Sorry. That's having his own story, and I hope that's not going to be the official X Factor book, where they all go separate ways with their own titles.
No, I doubt that any of them can, especially the whole team, hold their own books.
Exactly.
I think there'll be another X Factor. They'll change the title. Maybe it'll be called The X Factor or something like that, because
Phenomenal.
it was mentioned. It was mentioned. You said The X Factor to somebody.
Lorna. Yeah.
So it's a possibility. You never know. You
Could
never
well
know
be,
where destiny lies. Trying to think. Is there anything else that was announced this week?
Not that's really anything. I mean, I think we really covered everything with the whole movie stars and the comic books, and that's pretty much...
Yeah, I think that you basically... Necessary Evil, the trade paperback is coming out next week with the first batch of comic books, and there will be a DVD. That looks very interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Alright, so since we have gone through all the little bits of news, I guess we can slip off into some comic reviews.
Alright, let's go.
Alright, and let's start with Marvel, and then we'll go into DC Comics like we do on our show. And then we actually have a surprise review at the very end of all this.
Yeah.
So, Daredevil, The Man Without Fear, issue number 30. This book felt like a filler book, to be honest.
To me, when I was looking at this, I felt it was more of a team-up with Daredevil and Silver Surfer. Like, you know how they fight each other, and then all of a sudden
it is a team-up. It's meant, but I think this is more of a filler or a bridge between the last story arc and the next story arc. And it was a weak person to put up against Daredevil. But at the same time, I like this issue. I've been loving.
Yeah, Mark Waid's story of Daredevil is just phenomenally awesome. I mean, it's just really.
And the artwork's really good too.
Absolutely, like
By Chris
classic. Yeah, I also like when he goes out the window after Silver Surfer and he goes from Matt Murdock to his Daredevil costume.
Yeah,
I actually like that part in the story.
in 3 panels.
Yeah, in the 3 panels thing, and really, that's the way I saw it. I mean, it's just really something you definitely should check out for those of you who are Silver Surfer fans also.
Absolutely.
Because did you notice that Silver Surfer has been in some comic books that he's appeared in?
Everything lately has been cosmic or time travel with Marvel.
Yeah, well, yeah, time traveling like we just talked about before, and Silver Surfer is partially one of them. But yeah, that's all I have to say for Daredevil.
Venom, issue number 39. Might as well make mention of Venom while we have the chance. The beginning of Mania happened here, and Flash Thompson doesn't even understand how he did it, but Flash Thompson might have created a new symbiote. And the last time we saw new symbiotes coming out of Venom was when we had Hybrid Theory, and that's when we had Slash, Hybrid Bird. I forgot what the other characters were, but I know those two because those are my favorite.
To me, I don't know, really, because I didn't really read that much of Venom until, like, now, like, this past issue. Just really, Venom and Mania are, like, really something else. And even when they were fighting Jack-O-Lantern, like, I like how Flash tried to tell Mania that, killing isn't the answer.
And I think, and the thing I mean, we all knew it was Andy. I don't know why Marvel decided to hide who Mania was. Like, duh, we all know it's Andy.
Exactly, but I just liked how they did that. I mean, artwork's fantastic, nonetheless.
But that's another introduction of another character, yet again, in the Spider-Man world. We already have Flash Thompson Venom, Eddie Brock Toxin. Now we have Andy Mania. We have Dr. Octopus as Peter Parker now, a.k.a. Spider-Man. We have Spider-Woman. We have...
And Carnage.
Carnage. We have a new Carnage, possibly. But that's a bad guy. I'm talking about the good guys.
Oh, the good guys.
We have I said Spider-Woman. Madam Web is out of the picture for now.
And, Morales and the Ultimates.
Miles Morales is moving over from the Ultimates to the 616 once Cataclysm ends, because apparently they're going to be ending the Ultimate Universe or shifting characters around between the Ultimate Universe and the 616. You have the Scarlet Spider, which is Kane, and now there's the possibility of Ben Reilly coming back, which I highly doubt it's going to be a serious Ben Reilly, like, hey, I'm back from the dead Ben Reilly.
Different personality changes.
And then maybe Peter Parker at some point will come back.
I'm hoping, I wish it were tomorrow, or soon, because I would really love to see Peter Parker again. I mean, he may have been whiny like people said, but I want to see Peter Parker.
It's getting to the point where it's like, I'm tired of Doc Ock Spidey. Yes, it was fun while it lasted, but I mean, come on. We are at let's actually go to that book next. We are at Superior Spider-Man issue 16 already, and I mean, how much longer? Another 10 issues, maybe?
Yeah, because now it's going into the Goblins.
Yeah, it's all leading into it's going to lead into a story arc with Green Goblin. We just don't know when it's going to happen. Probably in the middle of 2014, there'll be a major event with the Green Goblin. There's rumors that Green Goblin is not Norman Osborn because what was her name? Menace asked Hobgoblin asked Menace in this book if she's taking him to see Norman Osborn, Green Goblin, and she kind of avoided answering the question. And there's a lot of predictions going around where it could be Harry. It's a new Green Goblin, Norman Osborn's missing, but it doesn't necessarily have to be him. It's very true. It could be Norman Osborn. It might not. We don't know yet.
We don't know who it is, but it's
I would expect it to be. I mean, but then again, it is Superior Spider-Man, so what are we going to get? Superior Green Goblin next?
Oh, God, no. I mean, we just ended that vampire story, Morbius.
Yeah, it is ending.
So, I don't know. Like I said before, just different personalities is just something else. Because
in Superior Spider-Man 16, we did get to see Hobgoblin die, but we got to see a Goblin rise when through a Goblin's death.
Yeah, and I think that the Goblin, the green one, I think he looks like a gremlin, kinda. Little gremlins.
What the heck is wrong with you?
Can I say what it looks like? I'm not saying it is.
You look like a gremlin.
Well, I take offense to that, sir. How dare you?
How dare you?
Let's go back to the story.
Let's go back.
Superior Spider-Man. It's a good read. Definitely pick it up and read it.
I agree. I don't know. It just... Sometimes Spider-Man is just very annoying now.
Yeah, I don't like his attitude, though.
His attitude is very...
If I could just try to avoid it, it's like...
When Doc Ock is in Peter Parker's mind, I swear, anybody from the 90s, if you stop reading comic books like in 1999 and you woke up this week in 2013 and said, hey, I want to get back into comic books, and you had no idea what was going on in both the DC and Marvel universe, you would be in for the hugest shock of your life.
A big, huge shocker of your life.
You'd go back into DC and you'd see a brand new DC Comics with new costumes, new everything. And you go into Marvel and Peter Parker isn't Spider-Man anymore and a bunch of stuff's going on and everything's in space. And
everything's everywhere in space.
And every other week or every other month there's a new event going on.
And they're here, there, and everywhere. It's just crazy.
And time does not matter in the Marvel universe
anymore.
anymore.
They could go back and forth as many times as they want just to annoy us. Even me with this time traveling. But speaking of another superior title, you have another superior...
It says the Superior Nova, but this is really Nova issue number 7. And this was a definite filler issue, and I'll tell you why. Because Nova's trying to be a superhero, and he wants to be around, he wants to help out. And he bumps into Spider-Man, and he wants to help Spider-Man out. Things don't work out, of course. But this writer, Wells knows how to write Spider-Man, I feel, in... this book.
Yeah, but Spider-Man Doc Ock was being a real jerk.
He was a jerk, but at the same time, it was...
his character.
That was a perfect characterization of the current state of Spider-Man. I think that writing should be brought into the Superior Spider-Man.
But I don't think Nova's aware of...
no, Nova's not aware at all.
Did the Watcher appear in this one? The Watcher?
Yes, at the end of the year.
Yeah, because I was looking over that and...
Because Nova's complaining, there's nothing more I could do except a little job here and there. And one of the construction workers that's talking to him says, listen, learn to enjoy this time because there's a lot more, there's not as much peace as there is where you actually have to work. Things flip up really and get hard and stressful and crazy really fast. Enjoy the little things because you never know when the little things are just going to be gone and you're going to actually be faced with doing...
exactly, because you could live life once, and the ending part of this story was...
the easy days don't last forever. There you go.
Yeah. The ending panel, like the very last panel was...
It leads into infinity. See, Nova, this issue kind of continues off of the last story arc, but it leads into the next story arc. It's more of bridging the two stories together.
Yeah, it's like advertising saying, hey guys, don't forget to check out this one, and then,
I enjoyed it. I mean, I'm not going to say it was
absolutely.
the best book this week, but I really enjoyed the book, and I would definitely say it's worth a read.
Yeah, Nova's a character you would definitely...
Yeah, this book is all yours. You only read this book.
Yeah, the end of X Factor, part 5 or 6. I mean, like I said before, I hate to see this go, but I could just sum it up in like a few sentences. I mean, I thought I was just going to talk about Monette in the story, but it talks about Darwin, and he's going on a search for the Hello Queen, and then Monette shows up, and there's a huge shocker in this story that really caught my eye, was that Darwin has feelings for Monette, and then the Queen wanted to come in the end to give Darwin back his life, because his objective was to get the Queen and get his life back, because he was possessed when he went after Raffin's son Tyre, with the whole Hell on Earth wars and stuff like that. But in the end, he's just saying he likes being the way he is, and that's 2 characters left and 2 to go. From the roster, there was 4, but now with 2 gone, there's 2 left. But I really hate to see this issue go, guys. I mean, I really just enjoyed reading X Factor. I think I read it when the Dormammu saga was in it, like halfway point with when he got out and went back into the real world with Layla and all that other stuff. I thought her name was Layla. Very good, Layla. And I can't wait to see how the end is going to conclude this. It's hard to see this go. A comic book that I've been reading for almost a year or a year and a half, depending on how long it's been. It's something that I'm going to miss reading.
Almost as much as Hawk and Dove.
Oh, Hawk and Dove, I'll take them back any day. But they're DC. This is Marvel. But next to Hawk and Dove, Marvel would have to be my second most missed comic book. But Hawk and Dove is always going to be number one no matter what.
Next is Green Lantern New Guardians. Number 23. I just wanted to make mention of this. Relic attacks the Blue Lanterns in this book, and by the end of this book, basically, you see that there's no real stopping Relic. So how do you stop the unstoppable? Easy. You send it to Hal Jordan.
And, that's it, yeah. That's the solving the problem.
And this week we actually are going to get his origin in Villains Month. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, and is it just me, or in this comic book does the White Lantern, like his mask looks a little...
That's Kyle.
Yeah, Kyle, yeah. It just slipped my mind. Doesn't it look kind of weirdish?
Not really, no. Why?
I don't know, like, I kind of look at it, it's like, the mask is like... It covers like mostly.
The artists have a very hard time drawing it on Kyle's face.
Like the mask doesn't go full, like around, like some of them.
And there are a couple of deaths in this book, which I was shocked, especially with a first story arc. I was very shocked by the end of this book that there were a bunch of deaths in this book, mostly Blue Lanterns. I don't know, Relic is an unstoppable force. How are the Green Lanterns and how is Hal Jordan going to stop him? And I don't like Kyle being tossed around like he's a rag doll. And
yeah,
that's what they're doing.
Them everywhere.
Ever since Kyle got the ability to control the White Lantern ring, they're just beating the crap out of him and tossing and turning and flipping and throwing him around everywhere. And it's sad because Kyle is a lot better than that. And I don't know. It just feels like he got powered down with the White Lantern ring sometimes.
Maybe it might be the power of the different rings that might, this is like a prediction.
It could be controlling the rings, yeah.
It could be that as the future story arc progresses and leads into actually Lights Out, which is going to be another future story arc in the Green Lantern
It's going to be
series.
happening next month, I believe. It starts or the month after.
Wait a minute. How's it gonna with Villains Month and Lights Out? Like
Villains
that's gonna be a lot
September,
of titles.
and then
how many events does DC Comics have?
No. Lights Out is a specific event for Green Lantern. If you're not reading Green Lantern, it doesn't affect the DC universe.
Well, I'm just saying there's events in general.
Oh, I know, but I'm just saying it doesn't impact the DC universe, so it's okay.
No, I know that, but I'm just saying it's gonna lead into that one way or another.
Yeah, I guess. Next, we've got Supergirl number 23, which was an interesting and shocking reveal at the very end of this issue.
Oh, yeah.
I know you guys aren't used to hearing us talk about Supergirl, but I was shocked in the last panel. Basically, long story short, after fighting off her own demons that were sent against her by Cyborg Superman and his accomplice, there's a bit of a spoiler. I'll give a little bit of a spoiler away because I don't think that many of you are reading Supergirl, and after reading this, I think you guys should. Cyborg Superman captures Kara. She gets absorbed into the machine. They cleanse her body or her cells of all the kryptonite poisoning, and they're able to graft it back onto Cyborg Superman. Cyborg Superman breaks out of his shell, his cybernetic shell, to reveal that he is, and this is a spoiler alert, you can fast forward about maybe 5-10 seconds into the future after I say now, maybe go a full minute to be safe, but the reveal was that Cyborg Superman is Zor-El, Kara's father. But as a few people have said, and I'm agreeing, this could just be because Cyborg Superman absorbed Kara and took her
The DNA.
and that could be
Yeah.
why he became Zor-El. But that it could be very possible that it's Zor-El
And that's
because
Jor-El's brother.
because there was no mention of Hank Henshaw at all throughout this entire series. So it could very well be. I mean, like I said, some DC supervillains are getting a remake.
And
or
it is a
redo.
shock, too, actually.
And, yeah, the shock value is absolutely there for Zor-El.
But is that story going to continue, like, in a month or so after the whole,
The story will continue in October, but the Villains Month begins...
in September?
Yeah, the first week of September. And, ironically, Cyborg Superman is part of the first week's worth of books.
Also, maybe they will continue on.
Yeah, I'm getting that in 3D. All my Superman stuff is definitely going to be in 3D, if I can help it.
Right.
And speaking of Superman, we're going to go into Superman Unchained #3. This was a spectacular book, and Scott Snyder said he was going to break Superman down and then build him back up again. And Sam Lane is the person that's breaking down Superman, saying that, you know, Superman's not willing to make those tough decisions, and that's why he's a coward.
He's another Amanda Waller.
Yeah, he thinks that Superman only does his superheroing so that he can get... and that's it. And that's why he hates Superman. Not because he has superpowers, not because he's an alien, but because he's not willing to make the tough decisions, like, for example, killing. Which I actually love that they're pointing that out right off the bat, that Superman doesn't kill. He's not willing to pick that option.
Sometimes when people pick on these superheroes, I'm like going in a comic and saying, are you people blind? This is a superhero saving the world, not destroying it like they want to, because superheroes are meant to protect and save the innocent, not wreck it and make it into a reckoning of the way they want it. That's why I want to go in there and say, are you blind or something? Like, really?
Mm-hmm.
Makes you want to go in there.
And you get the background story on Wrath, who's been in the New 52 universe for 75 years. And the Superman Unchained comic does come with a 75 years cover or stamp. And ironically, the Superman S is the Superman S from the movie.
Right. But you said in this that you found out the thing that's not
it's not Eradicator.
Yeah.
My prediction now goes one of two other ways. It could be either Scorn or Doomsday,
I think Doomsday,
because of the bones and stuff. But look, I'm not making any more predictions because Scott Snyder actually said you'll be guessing all the way up until I'm ready to reveal who Wrath is to you.
Oh,
so you know what? I'm not even gonna bother guessing anymore. I'm gonna wait and see what Scott Snyder has planned for Wrath.
But wait, the thing that made me think it was Doomsday, not just because of the thorns, because in letters it says, and some of these days I have to kill you. Doomsday...
In the very end, yeah.
Right, because Doomsday was the one that really wanted to kill Superman. Scorn also?
It already happened.
What about Scorn?
Scorn, no. Scorn was from the Bottle City of Kandor. He was a supporting character from when Superman turned into blue energy all the way up until mid-2000s, and then he went back to Kandor, I believe, maybe a little bit later on.
And I want to point out, it may have been already done in the pre-New 52, but this is the New 52, and we did see Doomsday in one of the posters.
Yeah,
recently.
Superman Batman 23.1.
Right, so
not 23, Superman Batman 3.1.
It could very well be Doomsday. I'm not saying that it is. I'm just saying, you know, just that last part, and
I don't know. I don't think so.
It's bringing it out.
Well, they don't make mention of what time this story takes place. It's not Superman Unchained is not connected to Action Comics and Superman, which both are going through Side Wars right now. So it is quite possible that this did take place in the past. So it is quite possible that they are redoing the death of Superman or something like it. We don't know, and that's
we'll
the way
have
it'll
to just
stay.
see in future issues.
Yeah, but I love this issue. Jim Lee's artwork is great. Jeff Johns' writing is Scott Snyder. Sorry, not Jeff Johns. Scott Snyder's writing is flawless in Unchained. He does an amazing job, and he does an amazing job on Batman too.
Exactly.
Next, a Trinity War tie-in, Trinity of Sin Pandora #3, which is heavily tied into Justice League Dark issue 23. Pandora wants to fight and destroy the 7 deadly sins, but she can't touch them. They're like ghosts. She goes right through them.
Exactly.
So there are a lot of flashbacks, and she's trying to figure out how the heck am I going to be able to touch them and destroy them? How the heck can I do it? And it's explained to her in the very beginning of the issue, and she figures it out towards the end of the issue, and she's actually able to touch one of the 7 deadly sins. And
she's wondering how she did it.
I love how she said, "I'll explain it to you now, but first, who wants to go first?" And then it says to be continued in 2 months. So we're not even going to know how or what Pandora figured out and how she's able to hurt the 7 deadly sins now. Yeah, she had a sword. She had guns.
So maybe it was the sword that actually, had something in it.
No, she shot him.
Oh, I thought it was the sword.
No.
Oh, I can't remember. Yeah, maybe it was some type of bullet that was able to shoot. I don't know. Something like that. I don't know either.
And finally, this week, as far as review books go, we have Justice League Dark, issue number 23, part 5 of 6 of the Trinity War.
Exactly.
Superman is getting sicker and sicker and sicker and sicker. And by the way, guys, we did read Justice League number 23, but in light of the fact that next week's show, it's supposed to be part of the review, I'm guessing we're going to have to hold off on Justice League 23. But I will say this after reading it. What a shocker, and what a way to lead into Villains Forever and Villains Month.
I couldn't believe it. Wow. I just could not believe it.
But Justice League Dark, there is a traitor in the midst still of the Justice League teams. Superman is getting sicker. They confront Waller. You can go ahead and talk about this a little bit.
Yeah, I was just
I don't want to do all the talking.
In this issue, it was mainly pointed of Pandora's box. Wonder Woman had possession of it. Shazam comes in the picture. It goes to Shazam. Then Frankenstein came in the picture, and it went to Frankenstein. It was like playing, and I've said this 100 of times, it was like playing hot potato with Pandora's box. It just went from one to another. Yeah, like anyone who touched it, like they're saying, I want it. But when John Constantine had it, it had no effect to him because he had a certain type of magic, which I didn't mention in my in-depth review on Dark Avenger Inc. It's because of the magic he had. And him and Zatanna are, they find Madame Xanadu.
Mm-hmm.
And then the whole part in the end of, and they could fast forward this if they don't want to hear an extra minute. The person who shows up in the end is the Outsider, or Moy, whatever his name is. He shows up in the end, and he traps them. He's like saying, you entered my trap, and the whole thing was just like, wow. Just waiting to see how Justice League of the next issue was going to be. I was like saying, I really can't wait to see this. And the third picture. Mm-hmm. To the mural.
Which is another addition to the 3 to make 1 picture connection.
With the Justice League titles. But really awesome. I definitely recommend you check this out. For those of you who have been following Trinity War, if you haven't, where have you been? This is like one of the epic events in DC Comics. That's leading into Villains Month and Forever Evil. But it's a definite read, though. And I think you guys will like it. As far as, with Pandora's box that talks about...
I loved it. I think that the series is good. I hope that DC isn't going the route of Marvel where one event's going to lead into another, going to lead into another, going to lead into another.
I mean, that's what
I hope there's an actual the end. After Villains Forever, I hope there's a period and a lull before they even think about making a new event again.
Right, but I like in the story how they're making Pandora's box like one of the main plots in the story. Like the main thing of saying like what it does and how it affects other people around them. With all that stuff. That's what I really like about the Trinity War, what I'm reading. But I can't wait to see how next week it's going to all sum up.
All of it?
Well, yeah, Justice League.
Oh, Justice League, yeah, absolutely. Not all of it, though.
Well, not all of it. Like, leading... what I mean.
There's still certain questions there, and there's also more questions that come up towards the end of Justice League 23. There are more questions than answers for Justice League. But anyway, that's it for the books. We didn't read much else this week digitally. Very busy week. It's been hectic. So let's go into the books that are coming out next week, and then we'll round out the show. Yeah.
Alrighty.
And we're gonna do DC Comics last, due to the fact that it is Villains Month, and that's gonna be a huge topic to talk about.
Oh yeah.
So first, Dark Horse Comics, and the only thing I'm looking forward to in Dark Horse is the Star Wars #1, which is George Lucas's first draft of Star Wars. I believe it's an 8-issue miniseries. So I'm looking forward to reading that. I don't think we're reading anything else.
Well, not that I really know of. I mean, I can't even think of any really.
And then IDW, I'm looking forward to... Let's see. The solicits here say Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #26, but that's impossible because 25 just came out. So, Rocketeer and Spirit, Pulp Fiction Friction #2. I'm looking forward to reading that. That was issue 1 was really good, so I'm looking forward to that. Moving into Image, Invincible 105. I'm definitely looking forward to, as well as Invincible Universe #6. And the rest I've read, which is Walking Dead, Michonne, and... Oh no, those are shirts. Never mind.
Yeah, I was about to say, wait a minute, what are you doing?
Oopsie.
Yeah.
Marvel. Now, me and you have different opinions about Marvel.
Yes.
There's all new X-Men and X-Men Battle for the Atom. I'm looking forward to both of those. I'm looking forward to Iron Man a little bit. I decided to drop Infinity because I am not buying Avengers with Infinity. I'm reading New Avengers. I'm probably going to end up dropping the New Avengers until Infinity is over due to the heavy tie-in to Infinity. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
but I'm not going to buy a series that you have to buy other comics to keep everything, to get the full story, in other words.
And to keep things in order as well.
Yeah. And then there's Superior Spider-Man 17. What about you, Mike?
There is X Factor issue number 262 that is coming out. Venom number 40.
Those are 2 good books too. Yeah.
You know, I just really hate seeing X Factor going. And there was also a mention of the X-Men Legacy, but I don't even read that book anymore.
Yeah,
I don't even know
I
why.
figured.
It doesn't deserve a mention really, but yeah, you guys know about my take on that.
All right. Now we're in DC Comics, and I'm gonna go through all the villains, and we'll debate and we'll discuss. I already made my pre-order, so I can talk about which ones I got in 3D and 2D and why. First one is Action Comics 23.1, which is Cyborg Superman. I got that in 3D because all the Superman books I'm getting in 3D.
Right.
I already made mention of that. Huge Superman fan. I've been reading Superman forever, so I got that in 3D. Batman 23.1 is the Joker. Got that in 3D because it's the Joker. Best way to look at it is in 3D.
Yeah, craziness too.
Batman and Robin number 23.1 is Two-Face. I decided to get that in 2D. Not really something that I really want to spend extra money on to have the 3D on, but still, it sounds like an interesting read.
It does actually, yeah.
Let me put it this way, I'm getting most, if not all, of the Villains Month books. We're talking about which ones you should get in 3D and which ones you should try to get in 3D, and which ones you don't have to worry about and you can get them in 2D, or you could skip them completely. Two-Face, if you're not a Batman fan, you're gonna skip all the Batman villains anyway. Two-Face is one of those books where I'm gonna get it in 3D, but you guys, if you didn't want it, could skip it. Batman Black and White number 1, which I believe is digital first, is coming out this week. I'm actually grabbing that. It's a $4.99 issue number 1 book. However, it is a mini-series. I believe it's 8 issues as well. We have Batman the Dark Knight Ventriloquist, which is 23.1. I got that in 2D, but apparently, like I said, it sold out in 3D, which I was very surprised. It is a Batgirl supervillain. So
it could be popularity of the villains too.
Yeah. So if you are a huge Batgirl fan, you're definitely going to want Ventriloquist. If not, you can get it in 2D or just not at all. DC versus Masters of the Universe issue number 1. Oh man, I've been waiting for this for a while. It's a $2.99 book, guys. If you are a fan of Masters of the Universe, this is definitely a collaboration you are not going to want to miss out on. I know I'm not.
Oh, I want to check out that comic book. How it's all going to be, because that's really interesting.
And then we have Detective Comics 23.1, which is Poison Ivy. I got it in 3D just because I love the Poison Ivy picture, and I was planning to get it in 3D.
Can't wait to read that.
But if you're not a fan of the Batman villains, you could just get it in 2D, or you could skip it. Earth 2 number 15.1 is Desaad. If you're not reading Earth 2, there's no reason for you to be reading it. Also, Desaad is not from Earth 2. He is from Earth 2. But it's not connected to stuff that's going on in Earth 2 at the moment. Desaad is connected more to Power Girl and Huntress in World's Finest. So Desaad is really for that title. So if you're not a huge fan of World's Finest, you can get it in Standard Edition or just not at all. Flash 23.1 comes out, and Grodd. I believe I got Grodd in 2D because I'm not a huge Grodd fan. But if you're a Flash Villains fan, definitely something you would want to get in 3D. Forever Evil. There is a ton of covers, but I would definitely recommend checking out issue 1 of that. Count Vertigo for Green Arrow comes in both. I'm getting it in Standard because I just didn't have the money to get it in 3D. But if you're a Green Arrow fan, I keep saying Lantern.
Yeah,
definitely check it out.
But yeah, I can't wait to see how this Count Vertigo is going to be, since they made a little intro of him and the Green Arrow issues previously, but I can't wait to see about this character.
Green Lantern 23.1 is Relic. I actually got that in 3D because I have a feeling this is going to be a huge intro to a new character in the Green Lantern and DC universe. Justice League 23.1 is Darkseid. Of course, I got that in 3D because I saw the lenticular cover and it looked really awesome. Justice League Dark 23.1 Creeper. I got that in Standard edition because I'm not a huge Creeper fan.
Yeah, Creeper's not really a big thing to be in 3D, and I wouldn't even. I mean, maybe for them, but not for me.
Justice League of America 7.1 Deadshot. I got it Standard, but it's sold out in 3D. So if you can get it in 3D, maybe you'll want to. I'm not too huge on Deadshot. Deadshot is from Suicide Squad. I got it in 2D. I'm not upset that it's sold out in 3D either. And finally, we have Superman 23.1, which is Bizarro. I got it in 3D because I'm a Superman fan. This is the first time they're showing some of these characters after the new 52 started. So I'm looking forward to seeing the new Bizarro.
Yeah, and seeing how his character personality is going to be, and with the whole words backwards and all that
If he talks like that, maybe he doesn't talk backwards, maybe it's something else.
Justice League Dark, she does magic backwards, and I could read words backwards if I try, not to stress it out or anything. And that's it.
And there are other books from DC as well as Vertigo. I just labeled the Villains Forever and the Forever Evil and the Villains books.
Yeah, I'm really pumped up about Villains Month. Like, I can't wait to see how it's going to all play out and everything.
I'm super pumped for it. I'm really looking forward to reading. That's why I decided to read all these books. Maybe 1 or 2 I'll skip in both 2D and 3D, or maybe I'll get everything at least in 2D to read everything at least once. But for the most part, really interesting stuff this week. Joker, they're really throwing out the heavy hitters this week, and I know the rest of the heavy hitters are definitely going to come the last week of September. But then again, it's 13 issues a week for 4 weeks, so I'm looking forward to it.
Definitely, me too. I just really want to just read the issues. I just want to see how the 3D is going to look as well first.
I'm interested. Yeah, exactly. And if the 3D does not look good, I'm immediately going to stop buying them in 3D and stick to the 2D format. Once again, it's a cover. It's a cover, everybody. The only reason I'm even willing to buy it in 3D and not, is without the 15% still, is the fact that I've been waiting to see these lenticular covers for 4 months, 3-4 months now, and they were supposed to be Standard Edition books, but now they're not. I at least want to get the Superman ones in 3D.
If it's a lot of money, then it has to be something that will jump out at us, unless they're just doing it just to make good business with 3D.
I don't know.
I don't really know.
All I know is I bought it because I really wanted a I wanted the 3D lenticular cover since they made mention of it. But now that they're backing up a bit because they didn't have enough to make all the 3D covers, and they're making 2D covers, and it's cheaper, and Midtown is taking the 15% off of the $2.99 books that are not lenticular or anything, I'll just buy those if I'm really not into the super villain. And if, like I said, the lenticular covers don't look good, stop immediately and just get everything in 2D.
Exactly.
Except the Superman ones. I think I'll stick to those in 3D. But beside the point, it's up to you guys. But remember, if you don't have the money, it's just a cover. Get it in 2D. It's just as good. Unless, if you're one of those people that's looking to buy these books just to sell them, first of all, you shouldn't be reading comic books then, and you shouldn't be checking out this podcast, that's for sure. But unless you're looking to buy them to make a big sale in the future, possibly, and when I say possibly, I mean you got to get lucky. I mean, even the number ones from the New 52 are not selling for more than their original asking price, and it's been 2 years. So don't look to make money off of these covers. So if you're just buying to buy and you don't have a lot of money, just go with the 2D covers. It's the same story. It's the same stuff. I earned a lot of extra money this summer, so that's why I've been waiting for these 3D covers for a while. So I'm going to enjoy them, at least a few of them. And that's that.
Yep.
So that's about it for this podcast, guys. I'm really setting up for my 200th comic review, which is this weekend. And that's why we really don't have a lot. You notice that I have not really posted any videos this week thus far on Dark Avenger Inc. That's due to the fact that I am setting up a lot of stuff, a lot of personal stuff that I'm working on, fixing up an entire apartment, as well as working on 200, and setting up things to follow 200 after 200, because believe it or not, there is an after 200 setup, because every time I hit 100 or 50, something big happened. So obviously I'm setting up for something big in 200. Yep. So you can look forward to that. Also, the Related Recap would like to thank the official band of the Related Recap. Or actually, I should say, we would like to thank the official band of the Related Recap, the Yellow Belts. Mm-hmm. Because they don't need no green belts, and they're a hell of a lot better than the white belts.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know why I had
in there. Yeah.
I had to throw that joke in there once. Awesome intro song, but we have to thank them.
Yes.
And thank you guys so much for sticking around. I don't know how many more episodes Mike will be here for. Maybe Brent will come back from the Fortress next week. Well, maybe the week after.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's always great to help out.
Yeah.
You know.
Either way, I'm sure Brant will hear this in the Fortress, and he'll make his determination. And if he thinks this was a horrible podcast, he'll come running back. Brant, come back!
I think
Brant, come back! Please, I'll share my crystals with you.
We really hope that everything goes well for Brant.
Yes, very busy. This has been the most busiest summer in my life, and it's not even over yet, and I'm on a 2-week vacation. So thank you so much for joining us, guys.
Yep, and remember, if it's comic related,
we will probably stay up really late at night, hide in our Fortress of Solitudes, and you'll hear about it from us.
And don't forget, and eat bacon too, because bacon is really, really good.
I love how you throw bacon into everything.
Well, it's good. It's crispy.
So you should say it again. Say it again.
If it's comic related,
we'll just smear bacon all over it instead. There you go.
Yeah.
That's what we'll do. That's what I like that one better. We'll just smear bacon all over it.
So see, that's what I mean with being a great help. I just helped you.
Get out.
But this is.
Get out. The
podcast
is over.
My house too, you know.
Unfortunately.
Let me tell you something.
This podcast is over. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and we'll see you guys, or we'll be talking to you guys next week.
Yep.
Next week is Villains Month, so we're going to have a lot of Villains Month stuff to talk about. So until next time, everybody, take care, and we will see you guys next time.
Yep. So
and also, don't forget to check out comicrelated.com, your #1 source for comic book news, reviews, and a whole bunch more. And also, don't forget to check out Dark Avenger Inc., which is a site that me and my brother work on, as well as other people.
Yep.
And we do comic reviews and stuff on there as well.
And we give 110% of ourselves for all of you out there doing videos that we love doing and enjoy every minute, every hour, and every other thingamajigger of a day.
Are we done now so I can say goodbye?
Yes. So, later, guys.
Take care, everybody. See you guys next week for another Related Recap.
Yep.
Bye, everybody.
Later, guys.